Sangana Paya Kande Narotamada Shri Govinda Ghosh ki jai, Shri Narottam Thakur ki jai. Jai Mahotsaha Mahotsaha Prabhu Ashtota Shri Srimad Abhaya Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtota Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Thakur Shri Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Jagannath Puri ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulasi Devi ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Taking on the word which your Prabhupada stands in book distribution and the Varnashram farm communities ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurango. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Okay? So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today being the disappearance day of Sri Govinda Ghosh, we'd like to glorify him to our limited. Okay, so I'll read. So this is these associates. Govinda Ghosh is part of the three associates of Lord Chaitanya. He had two other brothers called Madhava Ghosh and Vasudeva Ghosh. So they were known as the Ghosh brothers. You know, you have Patel brothers and you have the Ghosh brothers. So they appeared in this. It seems to be like a common thing within our the sampradaya, especially of. So anyway, good amount of our acharyas, they appeared in high class kayastha societies. So the Ghosh brothers, they appeared in a high class kayastha society, and their main service was singing. We can see Govinda Ghosh. You know, he. I'll read some sections over here. Okay, Govinda Ghosh is counted amongst Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal branches. Chaitanya Charitamrita 1.10.118. Eventually, he made his home in Agradweep, Vasudeva in Tamluk, and Madhava Ghosh in Dainhat. Actually, before all this, anyway, since I'm reading this, I'll go on. Okay. Govinda Ghosh Thakur's house is not far away from Agradweep in Kashipur, Vishnutala. Okay, during the Rath Yatra festival, Govinda Ghosh was the lead singer of the fourth Kirtan group, accompanied by his two brothers, Shota Haridas, Vishnu Das, and Raghav Pandit. Rakeshwar Pandit joined his groups as the principal dancer. So, Om Agnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shritafata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Thagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Matamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sandubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamnati Namane Hari Janagana Bari Gnana Karmanda Hari Prakritita Para Bhaktir Bhakti Siddhanta Kantihi Vinaya Nikara Lakshmir Nimna Medaira Gamyo Bhuvijayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshchaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yet Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Yasadeva Parabhaktar Yata Deva Tata Guru Tasyate Katita Hyarta Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. So we can see this over here that Govinda Ghosh Thakur and his two brothers were when there was a Ratha Yatra going on in Jagannath Puri, that is the most ecstatic thing because Lord Chaitanya fully takes upon the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he's having some really amazing loving exchanges with Lord Jagannath. And there's only two people who could understand some of the things that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying. And those two people were Sarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami. And this is, anyway, I don't want to go into a whole side topic. But we can understand that in order for the Lord to enjoy various rasas properly, they are set in such a way that everything is done according to Siddhanta. Bhakti Siddhanta Viruddha Arasabhas, Shrinilena Hai Prabhu Chitira Ullas. Then Lord Chaitanya is displeased with any statement which is not according to scriptural injunctions. And we can say that in the lives of our acharyas, some of them were Bhagavatam speakers like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. His main service was to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, and he would speak Bhagavatam and he would give such amazing, purports and realizations, and the way he would sing the Srimad Bhagavatam itself was out of this world. You can chant one verse. Sorry, you can chant one verse of the Bhagavatam in so many different ways, actually. So he would sing like that, and sometimes in the Juna Maharaj, he's somehow got hold of more of the writings of the Goswamis, which were kept by a particular group of people, but now he's working with them to digitize these writings. In that, he was reading, and one of the things that is said that Rupa Goswami sometimes, he would be in Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's place, wherever he was doing the Bhagavatam class, and he would just be stunned, motionless for 24 hours because he's completely shocked by the glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam done by Raghunath Das Goswami. So it's really amazing. So we can understand that sorry, the singers in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, they also sung songs to convey the greatest, deepest philosophical import. That we can see that Narottam Das Thakur's bhajans, they have such high philosophical meaning to the song to what he's conveying. Srila Prabhupada said that Narottam Das Thakur's bhajans are as good as the Vedic scriptures because they have the essence of all Vedic knowledge in them. So that was the whole method of preaching, singing, conveying songs. Because when it's done in a particular way, the meaning of the song itself, gets stuck in your head. And this happens when we're listening to bhajans all day and night. And it also happens when you go to an event where they have 150 dance performances, and they have every catchy Bollywood song from 2005 to 2025, or at least it seems to me like 2005 to 2012. Every catchy song that if you just happen to be in India, you will know it. Somehow they had all these songs playing, and I have to be honest, till now, some of them I'm like, please, Ugram Viram Mahavisham Jwalantam Sarvatomukam, Risimham Bhishanam Badram Nityor Mitirumameham. Praying to Narasimha, please, and then I have to force myself to remember a bhajan and this and that. But so we can see that these songs, they have such deep philosophical imports of Narottam Das Thakur. Or if you listen to Karmi songs, they're just horrible. And what did they remind you of? All kinds of nonsense activities. So it's important, for us to listen to these bhajans. And Govinda Ghosh Thakur, he was one of those people who was singing during the kirtan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was singing during these kirtans, And that singing just sets the right mood. Every devotee does his part to increase the loving exchange between Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya. Every devotee does their part. And to be a kirtan leader in such in such an esoteric thing, you got to be someone special. Got to be someone really special. It's not just enough to have a good voice. You have to have a deep level of realization. You need to have a deep level of realization. So Govinda Ghosh Thakur was one of these singers. And then now it's said that Rakeshwar Pandit himself would go and join that group. And Rakeshwar Pandit, what's he famous for?
He would push away the crowd.
No. He was a dancer. Lord Chaitanya said, he could dance for 72 hours on end. He requested Lord Chaitanya, just give me a group of Gandharvas who can keep singing and I'll just keep dancing. Another place, Rakeshwar Pandit, begged Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please give me the sins of all the living entities in this world. I will suffer for all the sins of all the living entities and let them go to the spiritual world. No, Vasudev Datta did that. Sorry. So Rakeshwar Pandit, he is famous for dancing. So Rakeshwar Pandit, if he comes and joins that particular group, that means their kirtans were especially fired up. There must be ecstatic dancers. We can understand and see. So this is who Govinda Ghosh is. He's a very exalted, esoteric devotee of the Supreme Lord. And we say that one thing I was reading last night is that Govinda Ghosh Thakur, he remained a brahmachari his whole life. And he was worrying, like, what's going to happen? Who's going to do my funeral rites? Right? So, his deity, Gopinath, his deity told, don't worry, I will 100%, he appeared to him in a dream and told him, I will 100% take care of your funeral rites. Don't worry about that. So it's so amazing that the Supreme Lord himself comes to give such assurance to his devotees. And till today, the disappearance day of Vasa Ghosh, or Sri Govinda Ghosh, is conducted with like huge pomp, and it's arranged by the deity. I mean, how exactly? Through the Pandya, somehow the other, the deity makes sure that this great devotee's funeral rites are not just, but like this festival is celebrated properly. So we can't understand the level of exaltedness of these devotees. We can't understand how exalted these devotees actually are. We have no conception. We say that Bale Gaura Gadadhare Rarati Nehari Nadia Purabha Bhave Jao Balihari. We see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is sitting in Surabhi Kunj and he's worshipping Bale Gaura Gadadhare. He's worshipping the forms of Sri Gaura Gadadhara. He's worshipping their forms. Why? Jamaki Deki Pratiyanga Jyoti. He's able to see that Gaura Gadai, they are not different from Shri Radha and Krishna. So this Govinda Ghosh Thakur, he in Gaura Leela, he's singing for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in Krishna Leela, he sings for the pleasure of Shri Radha Govinda. He's a gopi who sings for the pleasure of Shri Radha Govinda. So, such exalted devotees, they come, the Chaitanya Charitamrita has said that even one of these devotees, even one drop of their mercy is enough to flood the entire world with the ocean of love of God, the ocean of mercy. That's why we also sing Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu, Adhamma Janara Bandhu. The Srila Prabhupada is a great ocean of mercy. So, Srila Prabhupada is of that status, some inconceivable, amazing status of devotional service. So, this is Govinda Ghosh. On Mahaprabhu's direction, Govinda revealed the Gopinath deity from a black stone in Agrati. There seems to be two accounts. Over here, in one place it says that Govinda Ghosh remained a brahmachari. In another place it said that Govinda Ghosh. See, now this here it says, there is a legend. What exactly does that mean? I don't know what that means. There is a legend that Govinda Ghosh's wife and son both died. I see, okay. His wife and son both died untimely. So either he was a brahmachari whole life or his wife and son died untimely. As he grew older, Govinda began to wonder who would perform his last rites, as it's considered important to have a son who can do the Shraddha ceremony on his behalf. Govinda had a dream which Gopinath appeared to him and said, "Don't worry about this. I am your son. I will perform the Shraddha ceremony for you myself." When Govinda Ghosh finally left this world, Gopinath was true to his word and offered Pinda on his behalf. Gopinath continues to perform the ceremony every year on the anniversary of Govinda Ghosh's departure from this world. This takes place on the Krishna Trayodasi of the month of Chaitra, basically today. The deity is personally doing it today. That's far out. Okay, and his brother. Okay, so this goes on about his brothers. So yeah, this is the exalted nature of this great devotee, this great Vaishnava Acharya, and we can take a great opportunity to seek his blessings. And we can see that sometimes the Lord is so pleased by the service of the devotee that He Himself wants to come and serve the devotee. He wants to take instructions from the devotee. We can say there's one deity hey, that's a coincidence, guys. So there's one incident of Ramanujacharya. He had, he went to a particular temple in South India. I'm forgetting the exact name of this temple. And he was worshipping this deity so nicely. And then, he was there by himself. And then like a small boy came and he started taking instructions from Ramanujacharya and this and that. And then initially Ramanujacharya initiated him. And Ramanujacharya put the tilak on this boy. Whether it was a Tengalai tilak or a Vadagalai tilak, I don't know. But he put on the Sri Vaishnava tilak on him, whichever one it was. And when you put tilak on someone, it's usually crooked. I used to do that many years ago. I think I kept it like once or twice on Navani Hoda, and I said it like maybe Chandan or someone else should do it because, the tilak gets all crooked, really. I remember that. I did it for you. I did it for Raymond. I did it for a couple of Prabhuchis only. But the tilak, it would be crooked. Ramanujacharya performed the pastime of putting on this tilak, and it was crooked. And then after the initiation ceremony, the boy stopped coming. And he was wondering where he was, and he looked at the deity, and he realized that the deity has the exact same crooked tilak that he kept on this boy. Then he realized that, oh my God, the deity came as his boy and took initiation from me. So, inconceivable, the Lord wants to serve, to be what does a disciple do? Tadvati pranipatena pariprashena sevaya upadeshanti jnanam jnanana satadakshana. That disciple has to Tadvidi pranipatena, so this deity came as a form of a small boy, did pranipat, did full-on surrender into Ramanujacharya. Pariprashna asked him all these amazing questions. And Sevaya served him menially. Acharan dashate nicho, as a menial servant. Guru suhrida sohrida. So that's how enjoyable it is for the Lord even to be in the position of a servant. It's the glories of the great Acharyas. So we can see the deity himself became like a son. A son means junior, subordinate means service. The son is performing service for the pleasure of the father, Govinda Ghosh. Shri Govinda Ghosh ki jai. So we can pray today for his causeless mercy upon us. That maybe someday we can develop a small amount of service attitude that he had. So much that he was relishing that service attitude, service so much that the Lord himself wanted a taste of that. Can someone else actually live play this, please? Thank you. Initially, it felt like we were in Kamalini Mataji's house. We were just like the Sankirtan boys here, and then there was no one else. So like, wow, okay, but in North Carolina. Okay, so we just already did Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, so we'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It's 387, right? Hare Krishna Mataji. It's 387, right? Okay. So, Proktam Kila Etad Bhagavatamena Nivriti Dharma Abhirataya Tena Sanat Kumaraya Saha cha aha prishtah Sankhayanaya anga drita vrataya proktam kilaitad bhagavato tamena proktam kilaitad bhagavat tamena nivritti dharma bhiratayatena nivritti dharma bhiratayatena Sanat Kumaraya Sachaha Sanat Kumaraya Sachaha Prishtah Sanat Kumaraya Sachaha Prishtah Sankhyayanayang Drita Vritaya Sankhyayanayang Drita Vrataya Proktam kilaitad bhagavattamena Nivritti dharma bhiratayatena Sanat Kumaraya Sachaha Prishtah Sankhyayanayang Drita Vrataya. Please repeat. Kilaitad bhagavattamena Mataji's, please. Bhagavattamena Proktam was said. Kilam, certainly. Etat, this. Bhagavattamena, by Lord Sankarshan. Nivritti, renunciation. Dharma abhirataya, unto one who has taken this religious vow. Tena, by him. Sanat Kumaraya, unto Sanat Kumara. Saha, he. Cha, also. Aha, said. Prishtaha, when inquired of. Sankhyayanaya, unto the great sage Sankhyayana. Anga, Madhya Vidura. Dhritavrataya, unto one who has taken such a vow. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Sankarsana thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam to the great sage Sanat Kumara, who had already taken the vow of renunciation. Sanat Kumara, also in his turn, when inquired of by Sankhya Muni, explained Srimad Bhagavatam as he had learned it from Sankarsana. Purport: this is the way of the Parampara system. Although Sanat Kumara, the well-known great saintly Kumara, was in perfect stage of life, still he heard the message of Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Sankarsana. Similarly, when he was questioned by Sankhya Rishi, he spoke to him the same message he had heard from Lord Sankarsana. In other words, unless one hears properly from the authority, one cannot become a preacher. In devotional service, therefore, 2 items out of the 9, namely hearing and chanting, are the most important. Without hearing nicely, one cannot preach the message of Vedic knowledge. I already did the prayers, so I'll just get into it. So, we can say in this that Srila Prabhupada is glorifying the Parampara system. We say in the Shastra, Prabhupada said the most important verse in all Vedic literatures is the last verse of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which is Yashi Deve Para Bhaktir Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyate Katita Hyarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha, which means that for one who has full faith in the spiritual master and in Krishna, all the purports of Shastras are completely revealed to him. So this is very important, to have faith in the spiritual master, to have faith in Krishna. And this faith is developed by what? Shraddhavan Janhoy Bhakti Adhikari. How do you get this Bhakti Adhikar? You get this Bhakti Adhikar by hearing the instructions of the spiritual master. But it's not just enough to hear him. We have to apply the instructions of the spiritual master. So when we hear the message of coming from the lotus mount of the spiritual master, and then we apply the same message in our life, then we can see that it certainly has impact upon our very being. That's why Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam raja shayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. That this knowledge is always given in disciplic succession, the chain of disciplic succession. This knowledge is always given. And every time the disciplic succession is lost, the Lord himself personally comes to re-establish the disciplic succession. So we see that this knowledge given to us by Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada, by all these devotees, it becomes exceedingly ecstatic to hear about. Why? Because when we hear about these ecstatic pastimes and narrations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the hankering for the material world goes away. Our hankering for this material world disappears. So, although Sanat Kumara, he was self-realized also. He was self-realized. The Bhagavatam says that. Prabhupada is saying this in this purport. Still, he went and inquired from Lord Sankarsana. Why? Because Atma Rama Shamunayo Nirgrantapi Rukrame Kurvanta Haitukim Bhakti Mittam Bhuta Guno Harehe. That although you can be fully satisfied, you can be a Brahmavadi, like the 4 Kumaras were. They were Brahmavadis. They were completely satisfied in the idea of Brahman. But then when they... although they were satisfied, when they saw the ecstatic tulsi, they saw the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and they smelt the ecstatic, the smell of the manjaris on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that was too much, that was too attractive for them. And they were completely shocked. I remember till now, just reading this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Description of the Kingdom of God, Canto 3, Chapter 15. It just... Actually, I remember, you were really excited, right, when you were in DC to get to that chapter. Like, wow, chapter. You say, where can I find this description of the Kingdom of God? I said, all right, if you really want to know, you can look at Canto 3, Chapter 15. That's like the first time in the Srimad Bhagavatam where they get fully into the discussion of the Kingdom of God, and I thought it was awesome. So, and it's so bewildering that when the Kumaras, they appear. They curse Jaya and Vijaya. They curse Jaya and Vijaya, and then in order to see they come to see the Lord. But then when all this commotion was happening in the front, the Lord comes to see them. He personally comes to see them, and when he comes to see them, they're like completely shocked. whoa, who is this person? The Lord says, my dear great sages, please forgive the offense of my servants. And then in order to make up for the offense of my servants, I'm willing to cut off one of my arms and give it to you. That's what the Lord says. And the Kumaras are completely shocked. They're thinking, who is this person? Why is he saying this? What's going on? He's so beautiful. And then they smell the tulsi, the aroma of tulsi that's coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, and they become completely convinced. Oh, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And even after that, why does he do it? And you can pull up this verse, bro. This is a great, fantastic verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. 2:936. This is amongst the four most important verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We should all know this. Etavad eva jigyasam tattva jigyasanatmanaha anvaya vyatikarenabhyam yat syat sarvata sarvada. Translation, please. A person who is searching after the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. So this is important. Why? And what do we have to hear about? Then you go back a couple of verses before this. Let's see, it is verse number 30 and 31. We can see this here. This is 31. So 31 and 32. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. He is saying this to Lord Brahma. He's saying this to Lord Brahma. He says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Jnana Paramaguhyam me, Yad Vijnana Samanvitam, Sarahasyam Tadangam cha, Grahana Gaditam Maya. Translation. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me, as described in the scriptures, is very confidential. And it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. That's why, there's this amazing word that's coming to my mind. Parvati was listening from Lord Shiva, and Shiva says, who can understand the meaning of the Bhagavatam? Aham vedmi, Shuko vedmi. Vyasa vedmi na vedmi va. Now, I saw that there's a different line usually quoted, but Guru Maharaj quotes this particular, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj quotes this particular verse in Lekhamala, or Patropadesh, yeah. He says, so what does this mean? Aham vedmi, Shuko vedmi. So who can understand the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Aham vedmi, I can understand the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shuko vedmi, Shukadeva Goswami can understand. Vyasa vedmi na vedmi va. Vyasa may understand, Vyasa may not understand. But he says, Sridharam sakalam veti, Sri Narasimha prasadataha. I was shocked too. I have it like a list of questions if I ever get to ask my Guru Maharaj questions again. I'll ask him this question like, Maharaj, where is this? I'm really curious to see where it came from. He says, Sridharam sakalam vetmi. So he says that, look, I know the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami knows the meaning of the Bhagavatam. Vyasa may or may not know. I'm not saying this, Lord Shiva is saying this. But he says, Sridharam sakalam vedmi, that Sridhar Swami, who wrote the commentary who's the first commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sridharam sakalam vedmi, Sri Narasimha prasadataha. And how does he know this? By the prasada of Narasimhadev. He knows it by the prasada of Narasimhadev. And then my Guru Maharaj says, simply by taking the prasadam offered to Lord Narasimha, you can also understand the real meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's so we make sure that the Prabhuji making the offering up there is also praying fervently to Narasimhadev also. Huh? So we say Sridharam Sakalam Vedmi, that even that he knows why, because he got the mercy of Narasimhadev. So this is the position of our Acharya, the Jnana Paramaguhyam me. It is very, very confidential. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Jnana Paramaguhyam me. It's very exciting. Yad Vijnana Samanvitam. This is, it is so amazing that the ecstatic knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is so rarely obtained. It's so rarely obtained. Sarahasyam tadangam cha grahana gaditam maya. Has to be in conjunction. The necessary paraphernalia for the process is explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So this is very important, that we need to come into the association of the devotees who can give us this knowledge. Bhaktyamam avijanati yavan yashashmi tatvataha tato mam tatvado jnatva vishate tat anantaram. That the only way we can understand Krishna is through devotional service. And where will you get devotional service? Can you go buy it in Walmart? Can you go buy it in Target? Can you go buy... No, what do you mean no? Yes, you can. When you go and distribute books there, people buy devotional service, right? Right? So you can't, just kidding. The devotees can, they can make it available in Fayetteville Walmart if they like it or not, when they're there or not, right? Because we were, before we were getting calls from this guy who takes care of a particular book section in Fayetteville Walmart, because we would distribute books, and then what would happen is that the karmis, they would buy books from us, they would take the books and just keep it on some bookshelf, covering the karmis' books and keeping Srila Prabhupada's books on there. And the guy would think, you guys are trying to sell your books by keeping them on my stall, stop doing this and that. But, we are not doing it. Somehow they have the devotional service available for Walmart and Target and all these places, right? So, but we can't go and purchase devotional service from a store per se, but it needs to be given by a devotee. A devotee, only a bhakta can give bhakti. And how does that happen? There's the devotee prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He prays to him, my dear Lord, please give devotional service to this person. So there's a process. There's a process. There's a parampara. The next verse is very ecstatic. It says, Yavanaham yata bhavo yadrupa guno karmakaha. Anyway. Tataiva tattva vijnanam astu me mat anugrahat. That the Lord says, please, all of me, my name, my color, my pastimes and activities, right? Yeah, all of me, namely my actual eternal form, my transcendental residence, my color, my qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. It is very important. Advaitam achyutam anadam ananta rupam adhyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakto govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. That we cannot understand devotional. Here himself, Krishna, Lord Brahma is saying, vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakto. You say that even if you read the Vedas, even if you read all your big, there's nowadays there's people whose last name is Trivedi, Chaturvedi, coming from Brahmin family, but they don't know one verse of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, are you one of those? No, right? No, you're not one of those. Okay. So you saw that video. You're talking on the video. Okay, yeah. Am I allowed to disclose your transcendental pastimes? No. Okay. I see. You need the mercy. You need the mercy to disclose transcendental pastimes. Oh, I can. Okay, I got His mercy now. Okay. So we were distributing books again in this horrible festival, and then he somehow happens to meet the most amazing people on books sometimes, and then he brings their amazingness out also. So there's this guy. He was coming by and he was like, "Oh, I am knowing Bhagavad." Indians, you have to know, every Indian, the minute they're born with all of Srila Prabhupada's books, right? When they come out of their mother's womb, a whole set of Prabhupada's books. And I won't be surprised if they already have Mood and Mission. Because when you go, I remember the first day Vanity Karma came out, Jayadvaita Maharaj's book, I went and I showed it to some Indian guy. I said, Prabhu, you have to buy this book. I'm already having. That's when I realized these guys are damn liars. Like, come on. The book just came out. I got the first print. I'm distributing it. What the hell do you mean you already have this book, you rascal, But they are already having. So Charandeep also thought this guy already was having, but already knowing Bhagavad Gita. Then he said, you know Bhagavad Gita? Tell me one verse. And then this guy started quoting Bhagavad Gita. He said the first verse. And then he said, do you know the second verse? I don't need to know the second verse. He said, look. And I realized there's some commotion going on, and he was not letting him go either. So I came in, Prabhuji, what happened, Prabhuji? And then you have that video, right? So this guy was like, I am not. So I was standing in a particular angle, right? So I could see this guy's shirt and I could see his vest. Indians wear what's known as a banyan. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's a vest, right? You wear a vest. And then through his coat, through his shirt, through his banyan, I could see he had a Brahmin thread. I said, Prabhuji, why you're arguing with him? He's a Brahmin by birth. And he said, look, I don't usually do this. I am not the type to show off. But and he dug through all his coats. Hang yourself with the freaking thread. The guy is working a job. What kind of a Brahmana are you, man? But he took out his thread and he's flexing it like, hey, look. I am Brahmin. And then Charandeep had a Bhagavad Gita shloka, what's a face off with the guy. And until Charandeep outdid him in Bhagavad Gita shlokas, he was not letting him. Hey, at least he won. But But it was, so I am Brahmin, like, so they can say I am Brahmin and this and that. But, if you're actually a Brahmin, at least you'll know all the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Charandeep knew more shlokas than him. And then, they say, I am Chaturvedi, I am Trivedi, I'm this and that. But these guys, they don't know jack squat about the Vedas, How can you be a Brahmin and have a job? How can you be a Brahmin? Prabhupada says it's swapacha. It's the occupation of a dog to have a job because you need a master. So these are the I am Veda. But even if you do know all the 4 Vedas, let's just say you happen to not have a job, which is amazing, and you know all the Vedas, but Vedeshu Durlabham. You will not find the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all your so much speculation and I think it's like this and I think it's like that. No, you won't find. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and they were right next to an ashram of people who were Chaturvedis. They knew all the 4 Vedas. So then they asked him, who is Krishna? Well, it's very hard to say. Some say that he is unborn within you. All this kind of stupid stuff. Some people say he's Swayamroop, he's Akar, he's all this like crazy nonsense. And then he has Saraswati, who's the daughter of Shyamsundar Prabhu and Malati, Devi Dasi. And, he says, who? Saraswati, who is Krishna? And then she says, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and you must surrender to him. Yes, you are more learned than these people, So Prabhupada, because that's true. She is more learned. Why? Because you can study and do, it's like this. Like, let's just say you got like Yamuna Devi's cookbook, right? It's like this big. And you memorize all the recipes in that cookbook. But if you don't know how to cook it, what's the use? What's the point? I memorized 1/4 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water, whatever. Who cares? This much, the 4 cups and this and that, 7 teaspoons and 5 tablespoons. What's the use? You can't cook. What's the point? What's the point of memorizing the whole freaking cookbook? What's the point? So it's like that. They memorize the Chatur Vedas and this, that, and the other thing, but they don't even understand. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. You'll understand devotional service from the devotees. That's why etavat eva jigyasam, that you have to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have to inquire up to this point. You have to inquire up to this point. You have to understand, you have to know these things. If you don't know these things, then if you're not inquiring, we have to inquire submissively. And then how is this knowledge attained? How do we attain knowledge? We attain this knowledge by the performance of devotional service. By the performance. Atha Shri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevon mukhehi jivado swayameva spuratyada. That you attain this level of realization by the process of devotional service. By the process of devotional service, you attain it. So, it's important. It's important for us to do so. It's important for us to do so. And then, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he sings in the famous bhajan, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. He says, Gora Vihita Kirtane Shuni Ananda Hridaya Nache. He says that when I listen to Kirtan, which is pleasing to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when I listen to this ecstatic Kirtan, which is very pleasing to Lord Chaitanya, Ananda Hridaya Nache, that my heart dances in great ecstasy when I listen to when I listen to the ecstatic Kirtan about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, expanding and expounding upon the glories of Lord Chaitanya as revealed to us by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he says that in order to have Gora Vihita Kirtan, you need to have Gora Vihita Shravan. You need to do the hearing which is pleasing to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is very important. It's very, very important that we need to do this. And Lord Chaitanya, he came to give us the highest Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Shikshamrita, Eka Purusha Purana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari, Kripa Mudaryasam Aham Prapadya. He came to teach us devotional service along with renunciation and knowledge. He came to teach us this. Mahaprabhu Bhaktargan Vairagya Pradhan Yahadiki Pritihaya Gaura Bhagavan. That we can see amongst all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, one thing was common in them. What was that? It was renunciation. This renunciation was common in all of them. So, we can see and understand from this that when we hear the message of Lord Chaitanya, we can actually go and into this material world and not feel attraction to this material world. Prapanchikataya bhudya hari sambandhi vasanaha mumukshubhi parityago phalgu pairagya katyate. That we can look at any object in this world, prapanchikataya bhudya hari sambandhi vasanaha. We will see the sambandha of this particular object with Hari. Hari sambandha vasanaha. Mumukshubhi parityago. Mumukshubhi parityago. Then we won't be artificial renunciates. Mumukshubhi phalgu pairagya katyate. We won't be artificial renunciates. We will understand. Mumukshubhi, we will understand how to actually utilize this renunciation properly in the service of Krishna. That's why we tell so many people, I thought you're monks, why do you speak? I don't know where these idiots get the conception that monks don't speak. Maybe like some bogus Hollywood movie or something, where the guy goes and learns like martial arts from some Buddhist meat-eating monk or something like that. I don't know. But they have this conception that, you're not supposed to talk, or you're not supposed to have a phone. Why do you have a phone? Why do you have this? Why are you driving in a car? Why are you wearing shoes? Well, and then we tell them, we are not dry renunciates, we are applied renunciates. We apply this renunciation in our life. It's applied renunciation. It's applied renunciation. So we understand and we see this. It's very, very important. And then we can see that this knowledge is age-old. It's spoken by Lord Sankarsana himself. Before that, it was spoken by the Lord himself to Lord Brahma. Sa evayam maya tedya yogav proktav puratanaha bhaktosi me saka cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. We can say that sa evayam maya tedya, this knowledge I'm going to give unto you, my dear Arjuna, this most confidential knowledge I'm going to give unto you. Yogav proktav puratanaha. That this knowledge is very old, is coming from time immemorial. Yogav proktav puratanaha. Why? Bhaktosi me, you're my friend. Sakacheti, you're my devotee. Sakacheti, you're my friend. Bhaktosi me saka. Rahasyam hetaduttamam. This rahasya, this secret, I'm going to tell you because you're my devotee. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Maya Shakta Manaf Partha, Yogam Yunja Madashraya, Asam Shayam Samagramam Yata Gyasi Tatshunu. You can get Ashakti. Krishna himself says this in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is just ABC, Prabhu. There's no question of, all this esoteric stuff. No, it's right there. The Krishna speaks of Asakti in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya Asakta. You can get Asakti towards Krishna. Maya Asakta Manaf Partha. You can get Asakti towards me. Maya Asakta Manaf. Yogam Yunja Madashrayaha. You can get this by taking Madashrayaha, by taking full shelter of me. Yogam Yunja Madashrayaha. Asam Shayam. All your doubts will be cleared. Samagram Mam. Okay, yes, you pull it up. It's Samagram Mam. Yata Gyasi Darshan. What do you need to do? All you need to do is hear. Gaura Vihita Kirtan. So if you do this Gaura Vihita Kirtan, Asam Shayam Samagram Mam. Yata Gyasi Darshan. Then you can get Asakti. How does Prabhupada translate Asakti up here? Up. Mind attached. There you go. You can get serious attachment unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead by doing this, by hearing about Him. Just by hearing Gaurav Hita Kirtane Suni. We can get Ananda Hridaya Nachi. Then our heart can be freed of all contamination of this material world. It's amazing. Gaurav Hita Kirtan. It's inconceivable. Jnanam teham sa vijnanam idam vakshami sheshata. Yagyatva neho bhuyon yas jnatavyam amashishyate. Please. Translation, yeah. I shall now declare unto you this full knowledge, both phenomenal and knowingness. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. If we simply hear from the message of this, from the spiritual master, if we simply hear from them, then it's inconceivable. It's inconceivable what can happen. My Guru Maharaj, I strongly recommend devotees read this, at least this section of Jai Shri Prabhupada, where my Guru Maharaj says commentary on Guru Vandana. So he's commenting on every line of Sri Guru, Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Satma. He's commenting on every line of Guru Vandana, and it's super ecstatic. It's really ecstatic. And then in that he says, he says two things. One, he says, Shri Guru Karana Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu. And in speaking of the word Adhama, it says that, he said that yes, all these people are there, all these great acharyas are there, and they're preaching in a situation where Vedic culture was still present and all this. But until Srila Prabhupada, and out of his humility, he says, until Srila Prabhupada came and preached to us, the real meaning of the word adhama, us means the Western, people of the Western world. The real purport of adhama was not fulfilled until Srila Prabhupada actually came and preached to people like us, adhama, the Westerners, who were completely degraded and completely, fallen compared to Vedic standards. Adhama janara bandhu. And he says, you're the friend of the adhama. So then he says that the real purport of adhama was fulfilled over there. And he says, who am I? And then there's this, there's this few ecstatic verses. Let's see, I only have 2 minutes left. I don't know which direction to go, this way or that way. So anyway, I'll try to see if I can pull this up really quick. There's this, anyway, I won't have time to do so. So this is Prabhupada, he says this, that in devotional service, therefore, I guess I have to speak on the last line. Without hearing nicely, one cannot preach the message of Vedic knowledge. So we have to hear nicely. This is the most, yacha gyasati tachrunu. If you hear properly, then you can preach properly. I have noted him. Srila Prabhupada says that. Once Srila Prabhupada was on this, went to see his spiritual master, and it was in the Vrajamandal Parikrama. The Vrajamandal Parikrama, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was supposed to give a class, and then there's also the pilgrims. They were all there, and then the devotee came and said, look, we're all going to go take darshan of Sheshashahi Vishnu. We're all going to take darshan of Sheshashahi Vishnu. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also going to be speaking at the same time. So it's your choice whether you want to go to see Sheshashahi Vishnu or whether you want to whether you want to go and hear from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada was, of course, I'd like to go and hear from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then Prabhupada sat there and he heard and heard and heard. And all the pilgrims, they were already gone. And then there were so many people, there were a few devotees in the room. And then each of them had to excuse themselves to go and look at different responsibilities for arranging the whole pandal. And eventually it was Srila Prabhupada, I think it was Narottam Das Brahmachari and Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Maharaj. Only 3 of them were left. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was preaching and preaching and preaching and preaching. And Prabhupada was taking it in, absorbing it in. And at the time of initiation, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that, one devotee was recommending Srila Prabhupada to me. He said, you don't need to recommend. I have noted him. He likes to hear from me. So the qualification of a disciple is that he has the urge to hear from the spiritual master. That is why don't try to see the spiritual master with your eyes. See the spiritual master with your ears. It's the most important thing. This is how you see a spiritual master. It's not like he has a cool beard, he has a cool smile, he twirls a rose real nicely. No. You see the spiritual master through your ears. Shrutek Sitapata. Oh man. Okay, I'm out of time. So I'll end the class over here. Shrutek Sitapata means our path is a path of hearing. We understand our path back home, back to Godhead by hearing. So I'll end the class over here. If there's any questions, comments, or protests, we could take them now. Yes, Avaduta Chandra Prabhu.
I don't know if this is working. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I've heard it said that 99% of our spiritual advancement depends on our hearing and chanting. But it seems like there's also a big emphasis on association with devotees also. It's if we just try to hear and chant on our own strength, how far are we going to get, So I was I'm always trying to compare these two things.
Yeah, it's from personal experience, it's so much different hearing a class while you're on TSKP from the phone, right? We hear the Christian Life class live. We're hearing the class from the phone. There's so much difference from hearing the class on the phone and having the privilege of sitting here in Christian Life and hearing the Bhagavatam class. It's right. You feel that too. It's such a palpable difference, no? It's so awesome to be here because there's so many things can go like this and that. Probably sometimes there's no time that you have to eat while watching the lecture. You have to take prasadam while watching the lecture. You have to do this. You may have to do that. I'm just saying. For householders, maybe they're hearing the class and then hearing the class online and watching it on their phone and then the baby starts crying and then you have to go and attend the baby while you're listening to the class. And there's so many distractions which happen. But if you're in the Bhagavatam class, you're already arranged for everything else. This, that, or the other thing. And here in the Bhagavatam class, you're able to give full attention. So it's You're able to relish more. And then, Kalo Yange, Sange Shakti Kalo Yuge. In Kali Yuga, strength comes from association. So you can hear and chant on your own, but eventually, I mean, especially me, I really like having the association of devotees. I remember, like, when I was going to university, it was the worst experience of my life. It was like being in prison. And then, finally, when the class would get over, I would run to the train and, like, go to Union Square Park, and then I would see the devotees, and I would see Natabar, and I would, like, immediately, oh, Prabhu, I'm so happy to see you. Like, Prabhu, like, you just saw me like 8 hours ago. Like, don't need to be so excited to see me. But I'm saying, you don't understand, man. Like, it's so rough. It's so rough to be without the association. It's like finding water in a desert, It's just really, really hard. It's really hard. So we see, and we understand. Oh, and chanting, it's so ecstatic to be in kirtan. Again, being on traveling. What do I miss the most? I mean, okay, to be honest, I miss. Whoops. Okay, if I was going to speak untruth, the mic was going to cut off. So Krishna made sure I spoke the truth. I'm going to speak the truth. I promise. Okay. So what do I miss the most? Frankly, it's the prasadam. Okay, honestly, especially if you're with a devotee who can only. It's dying or something? It's going back home, back to Godhead? Okay. Okay, turn it off. He's sick, so we can let him, give him a break today. But, honestly, I miss the prasadam, especially when you're with, when you can only eat kinwa khichdi the whole time. That's rough. But then, you miss prasadam. I miss prasadam the most. But then the other thing which I really miss the most is, like, going like super crazy in the kirtan. That Mangalarti, Mangalarti is so ecstatic. It's just, don't get me wrong, after you had like a super awesome day on books, then the next morning's Mangalarti is fire. And the japa is really awesome too. I'm not taking away from all of that. But to be, like you asked my Guru Maharaj, you were sitting right there and my Guru Maharaj was sitting right here. So, saying you say the karmis, like, they go and they have like a, good, after they work hard, they go and drink or they do something to like let loose, right? And then you ask my Guru Maharaj, so Maharaj, how do we let loose? How do we let off the steam? And while you asked it, there was like a sound of a motorbike, woo, like going. We could hear that. I don't know if you can hear in the recording, but my Guru Maharaj said that's one way of doing it. Yeah. But then he said the other way, it's kirtan. And then, like, Navani Hoda Prabhu was also asking my Guru Maharaj, what's the, so, we were going with the shooting books and all this. Like, so, in one sense, what's Krishna's reciprocation with this? My Guru Maharaj said, Kirtan. And it really is. My God, it's like, yes, most of us are not the best singers. We have to be honest with ourselves, especially me. I'm just really bad. What is big when I have a cold? I sound like a donkey. But still, being in kirtan and dancing ecstatically with the guy who can't keep a beat, it's still worth it. It's still ecstatic. It's really amazing to be in the association of devotees and chanting and dancing. It's ecstatic. There's no doubt about it. And then what to speak of dadati pratigrahanati, guhyam akyati pritchati, bhunkte bojayate chaiva. You know what I mean? It's really it's really amazing. Bhunkte bojayate chaiva. You have this ecstatic, when I really miss taking prasadam with all the devotees. I was really missing Janardhan Krishna Prabhu when I was taking prasadam this time. I was like, oh, where is he? And where is my Janardhan Krishna? Where is my Amayatma? Where is my Rishi Kumar, the relisher of all kinva prasad, all Ekadashi prasadam? Where is my Giri who like never holds back taking down the? I was really thinking, where are they now? Should I bang my head against the wall and enter into a fight? But it's awesome, taking prasadam with all the devotees. I relish it. I really relish it so much. I relish it so much. But Chatur Vidashi, there you go. Pleasing the spiritual master by taking it down during prasadam. Look forward to it, Look forward to it so much. Right? And Prabhupada said, this is my favorite verse in the Guru Vashtakam. He said that. Prabhupada said that. Yeah, it's in Prabhupada's memories. That's one of the things we do too. When we're taking like lunch prasadam or whatever, if we had a class and we're taking breakfast prasadam, we watch Prabhupada's memories so we can keep the KTTVG, if you know what I mean. Right? To keep the transcendental vibration going, we keep doing that. But it's very ecstatic. It's very ecstatic being in the association. And how would you want to practice devotional service by yourself? Unless you're Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and if you are, Jayom Vishwapat to you. But realistically speaking, it's not like that. It's so amazing being the association of devotees. And then I was really, yesterday I was really thinking, where is Chandan? Where is Suresh? I mean, where is Ali? I haven't seen them in such a long time. I was really thinking that I was really missing them so much. Because especially when Chandan Acharya Prabhu cooks, he puts his heart into it. So how can how much because I'm cooking for myself, how much love can I? You're cooking for the deities, but you're not specifically thinking about any particular devotee that you're trying to please. But I was really thinking where are Chandan, where are Ali, where are Suresh, where are these devotees? I really miss taking prasadam with them. It's really nice. It's really so. And it creates such a nice bond, and Vishnu Chitta Prabhu, way back in 594 West 152nd Street in Harlem, way back then, he established this thing of all of us taking prasadam. Before we would all just make our plates, go into our rooms and eat together, watching falling Srila Prabhupada or something like that. But he established, okay, we all have to sit together, we all have to take prasadam together and stuff like that. That's the way devotees get close with each other. Ultimately, man is a social being. No man is an island. Damodar Prabhu was telling me this yesterday. No man is an island. Everyone needs friends. So if we don't have devotee association, we don't have friendship with the devotees, then we'll naturally have friendship with the karmis. And then if we do bhunkte bhojayate chaiva with them, radi pratigrihanati with them, then it's gone. So anything else? Is that okay, Prabhu?
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else from the men's side? Anything online? Okay. Mataji's? Any question? Okay. Good. Hare Krishna. So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vansha kalpatarubhyasya, kripa sandhubhyevacha, Patitanam pavanebhyo, Vaishamebhyo, namo namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna. Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami. One day.